Greetings. This presentation is going to cover the topic of unusual attitudes and how to recover from them. This is a technique that we learned during visual flight roles and are now being reinforced during instrument flight roles from an instrument perspective. So what are unusual attitudes? The FAA has defined an unusual attitude as in four ways. One, a pitch attitude greater than 25 degrees nose up, a pitch attitude greater than 10 degrees nose down, bank angle greater than 45 degrees or within those above parameters, but flying at airspeeds inappropriate for the conditions. And one of the ways we can pick up on that is by some of our attitude indicators as shown here on the left side of this slide here, showing us which way our attitude is oriented. So what types of unusual attitudes might we experience? Well, there are two types. One is nose high, the other is nose low. These are the two primary attitudes that we will encounter, especially during flight training. As we went through VFR, we all had our instructors who put us in these unusual attitudes and we had to recover from them. The same is true with instrument rating as well. And so how do we do that? First, let's look at the nose high attitude. First and foremost, with any unusual attitude, we have to recognize it. And one of the ways we can do that is by just simply looking at our gauges and trusting in them. We will see an increasing altimeter, an increasing vertical speed indicator. Our airspeed will be decreasing, and we can look at our attitude indicator as well to see the pitch of our nose, angle of bank, and get an idea of elevation as well. So how do we recover from that? Well, if we're climbing to avoid a stall, the first thing we want to do is to increase the power to full, typically, or proportion to the observed deceleration. The second thing we want to do is lower the nose to prevent that stall by applying forward elevator pressure. Then we want to level the wings and get back into straight and level flight with coordinated aileron and rudder pressure, and then return back to the heading that we were on prior to the attitude. And so just like we've done in VFR, we recognize it. However, this time we're going to rely more heavily on our instruments because we're not going to be able to look outside and see what's going on. The nose low attitude, we recognize again by looking at our gauges. However, this time it's going to be a little opposite. We're going to see a decreasing altimeter, a decreasing vertical speed indicator. Our airspeed will be increasing, and again we can look at our attitude indicator to see that we are nose down, we are in whatever degree of bank we're in, and get a good idea for where the attitude of the airplane sits. To recover from it, again, the first step we're always going to address in any unusual attitude is going to be the power. Because we are nose down now, we are going to reduce the power to prevent any excessive airspeed or any further loss of altitude. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the wings level by applied coordinated aileron and rudder pressure. And we do this before raising the wings because we want to make sure that the pressures and centrifugal forces on the plane are not too excessive by raising the nose first, then bringing the wings back up. So the third thing we're going to do after we level the wings is raise the nose to a level flight attitude by applying some back pressure. And again, we're going to return to our original stated heading. And again, much like VFR, we're going to rely on our instruments this time. We're going to look, we're going to trust them, and we're going to act accordingly. The first step, again, is recognition. We need to be able to feel where the plane is, where it's going, and what's happening. And then trust our gauges, look and see what it is the plane is doing, and know how to recover from it. This should be, in regards to decision making, this should be an automatic decision for us. Once we've identified the risk, the hazard, we should be able to automatically institute the recovery procedure, whether we're nose high or nose low. And so that is how we safely recover from unusual attitudes. Thank you.